your listening enjoyment, John Lund as Johnny Dollar.
Bill Randall, Johnny. And are you ever a lucky stiff?
Well, coming from you, I have my doubts.
How can you say that, man? Getting away from all this rain and cold, basking amidst the sweet-scented blooms of magnolia and honeysuckle?
Uh-huh. Where is this springtime paradise?
Charleston, South Carolina.
And what caught fire down there?
The Ambrose Cooper Paper Company, Johnny. Burned halfway down to the ground last night. Second fire there in 2 years. Cost one of their secretaries their life and could cost us around $100,000.
Well, you can afford it, even if she couldn't.
Not if it's arson, we can't.
Well, maybe the mint juleps are in bloom down there, too.
Now for just a few words on the subject of getting things done. Within the past few years, a new plan of activity has sprung up in America, the do-it-yourself plan. Whether you want to build a better mousetrap, a house, a rocket ship, plant a garden, or have some new clothes, you can buy the plans or patterns and do it yourself, which is a good idea. But there are still many things which can be done better with advice and help from the experts. For example, if you want to know the best way to plow the land, irrigate fields, or terrace your sloping acreage, there are experts who are always at your service. The engineers who are employed by the Department of Agriculture. They are also the ones to ask for advice in constructing the buildings and potato cellars and seed beds on your farm. If you need electrical power on your farm, the department's electrical engineers will give you the help you need. Perhaps you may want to know the best way to can vegetables, what special shoe to buy, or how to plan the right kind of meals. If you do, the Bureau of Home Economics issues booklets on almost everything that goes into a home. If you want to set up a practical bookkeeping or accounting system to help budget and control your farm expenditure, the Department of Agriculture will help you work out the system which is best for you. It will also give farmers advice on financial matters, even help with cash loans, and help the farmer establish prices for his products which are fair to both him and the buyer. All in all, the Department of Agriculture is a right neighborly organization to deal with, and an important part of your United States government.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, Eastern Fire and Casualty Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the magnolia and honeysuckle matter. Expense account item 1, $53.40. Airfare and incidentals between Hartford and Charleston, where I checked into the Colonial Hotel. Expense account item 2, $50 rental of a cream-colored convertible, which I drove down to police headquarters. Lieutenant Hervey of their arson division was working at the scene of the fire, so I went over to see how he was making out.
Only been a couple of hours since it cooled down enough to dig into Dollar, but you sure didn't make the trip down here for nothing.
You figure it was torched?
No question about it. Come on over here.
Yeah, sure.
This is where the offices was. The plant itself was back over there. Damage isn't too bad back there, but you sure got hotted up in a hurry out front here.
Mm-hmm. Looks like this was a private office of some kind.
It was. Norman Cooper.
The insurance policy shows that Mrs. Alice Cooper is sole owner of the outfit.
That's right. Norman's her son.
Oh.
There's another Cooper who works for the outfit, too. Robert. Younger brother of old Ambrose Cooper, who died about a year ago.
In that other fire.
Yeah. But here's what I want to show you. Take a look at that floor.
Uh-huh. Deep charring, flaring out from the center.
Yeah. Probably some highly inflammable liquid, kerosene, gasoline, something like that. Amateur job, too. No professional bug would leave a trail that plainly marked.
Who turned in the alarm?
Night watchman. He was at the far end of the plant making his rounds when it broke out. By the time he got here, there wasn't anything for him to do but pull the bar. It was clocked in at 4:17 a.m.
Where's he now?
Over at General Hospital, getting some burns doctored up. He got him trying to pull the girl out.
What about that girl?
Name's Felicia Farrell. Norman Cooper's secretary. She was lying on the floor right over there.
The fire killer?
They're posting her now. Coroner should let us know in a couple of hours.
Well, it doesn't make much sense, does it, Lieutenant?
Not so far. An amateur torch job. The Farrell girl being down here at 4 in the morning, Norman Cooper might be able to clear it up for us, though.
Yeah? How's that?
He took the Farrell girl out last night.
Well, what's he got to say about it?
We don't know. Haven't been able to find him since.
There was nothing more I could do at the scene of the fire, so I went to pay my respects to our policyholder, Mrs. Alice Cooper, whom I found silver-haired and gracious, serving tea in her mansion on Laguerre Street. She fitted perfectly into a picture of the Old South. Her brother-in-law, Robert Cooper, was also present. He struck a more discordant note.
It was so nice of you, Mr. Dollar, to find time from your pressing duties to come calling on us.
Actually, I should think that the interests of Mr. Dollar's insurance company would be more properly served in some other way.
Just what did you have in mind, Mr. Cooper?
From what Lieutenant Hervey tells us, there's definite suspicion that the fire was deliberately set. Your time might better be spent among the criminal elements of Charleston rather than here.
No, really, Robert. I'm sure that Mr. Dollar is a more qualified judge than either of us as to what procedures he must follow. Some tea, Mr. Dollar?
No, thanks, Mrs. Cooper.
Robert?
If you please, Alice.
I presume one of the first things you'd like to know, Mr. Dollar, is the present whereabouts of my son, Norman.
Do you know where he is, Mrs. Cooper?
He's away on a hunting trip, Mr. Dollar. He left last night, around midnight. Norman loves to go hunting. It's his favorite sport, you know. He'll be back in a few days to answer any questions you might have.
Uh-huh. Isn't midnight a rather unusual hour to leave on a hunting trip?
Now, look here, Dollar. I strongly resent the implications in this line of questioning you're pursuing.
I imagine Felicia Farrell strongly resents the fact that she's dead, too.
Norman had nothing to do with that. Or with the fire.
Of course he didn't, Robert. But Mr. Dollar's certainly entitled to the information he desires. Mr. Dollar, midnight's the time Norman prefers to leave on his trips. That way he arrives at the hunting preserve at dawn. He always says it's the best time for shooting.
Mm-hmm. I understand he had a date with Felicia Farrell last night, Mrs. Cooper.
Yes, that's right. It took her to a company dance at the country club. It was over at 11. He brought her back home and then left on the trip.
Just how friendly were your son and Felicia Farrell?
Why...
I'll answer that, Alice. And I'll put it bluntly, Mr. Dollar. Felicia Farrell was extremely attractive, but hardly the kind of girl Norman would consider marrying. And so far as I know, there's still no law against the sowing of a few wild oats.
There is if the harvest turns out to be murder.
Oh.
Alice.
I'm sorry. That was terribly clumsy of me. Are there any more questions, Mr. Dollar?
Not now, Mrs. Cooper. And thanks. Back at the paper factory, I learned that Lieutenant Hervey had returned to police headquarters. So I went to a lunchroom across the street to call into him. Expense account item 3, 55 cents. Phone call, hamburger, rare, and a cup of coffee.
Hey, mister, one hamburger rare with the works. I figure it's done the way you wanted it.
Oh, it looks fine.
And that was coffee you said you wanted with it, isn't
That's right.
Yeah, there's sugar and cream.
No, black.
I see, sure thing, sure thing. See, that sure was a mighty big fire they had across the street last night.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, kind of run into bad luck with fires, the Ambrose Cooper folks. The second one in 2 years they had.
Uh-huh.
My, it was real pretty, though it was. Much prettier than the first one. Old man Cooper himself got burned to death in that one, you know.
You saw the fire last night?
Oh, yes. It was real pretty. The place sure looks like a mess now, though.
How did you happen to be around at 4 in the morning?
Well, the night man was sick, and the boss made me take his turn. Oh, he's always doing that, the boss. He kind of makes the fellow mad, too, having to take another fellow's turn like that.
Yeah. Did you see anybody around the place last night?
Well, no, there wasn't nobody around that I seen. Of course, it was nobody but old Horace, that is.
Horace?
The old Horace Singleton. And the night watchman over there. Oh, it's no wonder they're always getting fires with old Horace around.
Yeah, why is that?
You wouldn't ever need to ask that question, mister. If you'd seen him the way he was in here last night.
He came into the restaurant last night?
Oh, yes, he always does. He gets to nipping at that bottle of his, and then somewheres around 3 or 4 in the morning, he begins to feel like having a little bit of company.
So he'd been nipping last night, too.
Nipping? Man, he was drunker than 40 hoot owls. Oh, he was real happy. Real happy, old Horace was. Said he was kind of celebrating his retirement.
What time was that?
Well, let me see. That was maybe 10, 15 minutes before the fire broke out. But I never figured old Horace would be rich enough to retire, though. I always thought every extra cent he made went for booze.
How come you didn't tell the police all this?
Well, I don't know. Well, I never thought about that again. You think maybe I ought to tell them something about that? They ought to know something about that, huh?
Well, they might be interested. I relayed the information to Lieutenant Hervey at headquarters, and he checked with General Hospital. The watchman, Horace Singleton, had been treated for superficial burns and discharged an hour before. We started out in Hervey's car to see if we could pick him up for questioning at his home.
It might make some sense, Dollar. We figured Singleton might be suspect in that other fire when Ambrose Cooper died. Never could dig up any proof against him, though. Can't figure out this crack about his retiring. The old coot dead broke, so far as we know. This is his street here. Charleston's not very proud of this neighborhood with all these shanties and shacks.
That shack in the middle of the next block. Is that where he lives?
That's the place, the one with... Dollar?
Yeah. Looks like we're just in time to pull the box on a third fire. By the time we got there and broke down the locked front door, the fire was really getting underway. Right in the middle of it was a rickety iron cot, and in the middle of the cot was the body of Horace Singleton. An empty whiskey bottle was still clasped firmly in his hand. We managed to get him outside just as the first pumper rolled up in answer to some neighbor's call.
Now, dear Dollar, I didn't think we were going to make it.
Well, we could have saved ourselves the trouble.
Yeah. Not going to answer any questions for us now.
Well, he answered one.
How's that?
Whatever else he might have done, he didn't set that third fire. Not even the worst corn liquor smells like raw gasoline. We waited around just long enough for the coroner's man to come out and pick up Horace Singleton's body, and then went back to headquarters.
Looks like we're in kind of a rut, Dollar. 3 fires, 3 bodies. And we're getting nowhere fast.
Well, at least we've got a pretty classic arson pattern.
Yeah, the use of fire to destroy the evidence of another crime. This ties in, too. The coroner's report on Felicia Farrell.
Lung tissue not seared or burned. Definite evidence of oxygen starvation. Probable cause of death, asphyxiation prior to exposure to fire.
And I'll give you 8 to 5 right now. We got the same type report on Horace Singleton.
So we've got a pattern.
I know. Still doesn't tell us who or why. And sure like to... Excuse me. Lieutenant, hurry. Yeah? Where? Uh-huh. Did you search the car? Yeah, I got it. Bring them down here to headquarters. I'll be waiting. Thanks. Well, that might help clear up a few points, Don. Young Norman Cooper was just picked up by the Highway Patrol for speeding.
Did they happen to find some hunting equipment in his car?
Yeah. Some other things, too.
Like what?
Felicia Farrell's handbags and a couple of empty gasoline cans.
You know, many great men have attained the highest office in our land, the presidency of the United States. Can you guess the name of this man? He has been called a lawyer by profession, a fighter by choice, and a politician by force of circumstance. And he was outstanding in all 3 fields. In 1788, at the age of 21, he was appointed public prosecutor for the region which is now Tennessee. As president, he was the first to introduce the National Convention for the nomination of presidential candidates. During his campaign for the presidency, his opponents attempted to smear him by an unwarranted attack on his wife, Rachel, who never recovered from the ordeal and died just before her husband's inauguration. If you don't have his name by now, here's one more clue. During the Battle of New Orleans, as Major General of the Army, he accepted the help of the pirate Jean Lafitte. Who was he? Andrew Jackson, 7th President of the United States. His life is part of your American heritage.
And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar.
It took about 45 minutes for the highway patrol to bring Norman Cooper down to headquarters. When we sat down with him in Lieutenant Hervey's office to talk things over, he didn't seem too upset at the prospect.
I caught the news on the radio up in Marlboro County, turned right around, head back home. That's why I was speeding.
You sure that's all you know about it, Mr. Cooper?
Of course it is, Lieutenant. How could I know anything else?
You had a date with Felicia Farrah last night. What time did you bring her home?
Why, somewhere around 11:30, 11:45. Must have been around there. I was ready to shove off for my trip at midnight.
Anybody see you bring her home?
Why, no, not that I know of. I just dropped her off at her apartment and drove on home. No, I don't think any... Say, what is this? Are you trying to accuse me of having something to do with that fire and Felicia Farrah dying?
We're just trying to get some information, Mr. Cooper.
Well, I don't like the way you're going about it, Lieutenant, holding me down here, questioning me this way. I think I've got an explanation coming.
Maybe you'd better explain how come Felicia's handbag was found in your car.
She left it there. Forgot it when she got out.
Did she forget those empty gasoline cans, too?
Gasoline cans? What do they got to do with this?
Mind telling us what they were doing in your car, Mr. Cooper?
No, I always carry extra gas along with me in case I run out on the road. That's what happened this time. Look, you're just trying to build up a great big thing out of nothing. Why should I want to kill Felicia? Well, I hardly knew the girl.
She worked as your secretary. You took her out dancing last night.
Sure I did, to a company dance. It was the only date we ever had. The only reason I took her was a girl I usually go with stood me up.
Who's that, Miss Cooper?
Well, her name's Marianne James, lives at 611 Crescent Drive. She's the girl I've been going with. She can back up what I'm telling you.
We'll check with her.
How come you thought I was Felicia's boyfriend anyhow? Didn't the fellow was really taking her out square you away on that?
Who are you talking about, Cooper?
Well, the man my mother's going to marry. My uncle, Robert Cooper.
While Norman Cooper was giving his statement to the police stenographer, Hervey made a few calls around town trying to locate Robert Cooper. He came up with nothing, so I drove to Marianne James' address. Nobody was home at 611 Crescent Drive, but a gossipy neighbor informed me that Marianne James worked as a hostess and guide at the Botanical Gardens, 15 miles north of town on U.S. Highway 52. Expense account item 4, $1.50, entrance fee to the gardens. According to the modest sign out front, I was entering 250 acres of the most lush and beautiful flora to be found in South Carolina. Marianne was one of 10 Southern belles whose job it was to paddle enraptured tourists around artificial canals in flat-bottom boats, while intoning the glories of nature to be found there. I waited until her boat was free, then stepped aboard and we pushed off.
You'll notice over there on the left bank, sir, the border of azaleas for which the botanical gardens are justifiably famous. There are over 47 different varieties of these lovely, delicate blooms, ranging all the way from the purest of virginal white to the deepest shade of passionate red.
Okay.
Now, straight...
Okay, Marianne. You can relax now.
I beg your pardon, sir.
We're out of sight of the dock. Suppose we talk about something more interesting for a change.
The rules of the garden, sir, forbid us girls to enter into any personal conversation with the visitors here.
Must get pretty boring.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. I get so sick of azaleas and magnolias and honeysuckle at times I could just... Say, now, wait a minute. You're not one of those company spies, are you?
No, not this time. My name is Johnny Dollar. I'm an insurance investigator.
I can't say I rightly know what that means, Mr. Dollar.
Well, boiled down, it means I'd like to ask you a few questions about Felicia Farrow.
Felicia Farrow? And I don't think I rightly know anyone named. Oh. Now, you're not talking about that poor girl who got herself burned to death in that fire last night.
Yeah, that's the one.
I read about that in the papers this morning. That poor, dear thing. What a perfectly nasty way to die. But I'm afraid all I know about her is what I read in the papers, Mr. Dollar.
That's not what Norman Cooper says.
Norman? Did he say I knew anything about Felicia Farrow?
That was my general impression, yes.
He's just a darling old thing, Norman is, but he sometimes gets the craziest ideas. A poor girl like me working out here hardly gets a chance to meet anyone.
Oh, is that so?
I should say it is. After all, a girl needs clothes to go out and meet people, you know. And you can't possibly imagine what perfectly miserable salaries they pay us here.
Yeah, I think I can. Well, what do you know? Looks like somebody dropped some money in the boat.
Now, did one of those careless visitors here do that? I swear, some people would lose their heads if they weren't fastened on.
Yeah.
If you'll give me that bill, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, sure. Here.
Now, what were we talking about?
Felicia Farrow.
Oh, yes. The poor dear girl. Of course I knew her. What was I thinking of to say I didn't?
You know where she was last night?
I ought to.
Oh? Why is that?
I had a date to go to the company dance with Norman, but at the last minute I got a silly old headache. I didn't want to spoil Norman's fun, so I asked Felicia to go with him instead.
Has she ever gone out with him before?
With Norman? Well, hardly. He's been escorting me around for the past year or so.
Who did she go out with?
Felicia? Oh, no one in particular.
Well, what about Robert Cooper, Norman's uncle?
I heard Felicia talk about him once or twice, but that's all. I know for certain she never went out with him.
Well, Norman said she'd been going out regularly with his uncle.
He did?
That's right.
You know, that's very embarrassing, Mr. Dollar.
Oh? Why?
Well, Norman's such a darling old thing. I sure hate to get him into any trouble. But it stands to reason that one of us is lying. And I sure know it isn't me.
After floating around the gardens for 30 minutes more without Mary Ann changing her story, I headed back to town in the Colonial Hotel. There was a message from Lieutenant Hervey asking me to call him at headquarters the minute I got in.
Been checking the bank accounts of the people involved, Dollar, and it looks like it's paying off.
Well, it's about time something did.
Felicia Farrow made a cash deposit of $500 over and above her salary checks each and every month for the past 2 years.
What about Norman's account and Mrs. Cooper's?
Nothing there. But Robert Cooper's account shows a correspondent cash withdrawal of $500 2 to 4 days before each of Felicia's deposits.
Have you picked them up yet?
No, but we will. And it's not too tough to figure now.
Well, a blackmail motive might be a little hard to prove without knowing what Felicia had on him.
Felicia Farrow has a safety deposit box in the same bank.
Can you get a court order to open it?
We're getting one now. Care to join us?
I don't mind if I do. We found that the safety deposit box was held jointly by Felicia and Mary Ann James. The vault records showed that Mary Ann had been in to open the box earlier that same day. And the box contained a marriage license, issued a year before to Felicia Farrow and Robert Cooper.
You can't ask for a better blackmail motive, Doc. Robert wanted to marry Mrs. Alice Cooper while he's already secretly married to Felicia. She really had him over a barrel. No wonder he killed her.
Yeah. The death of the watchman makes sense now, too.
Sure, he must have stumbled into it while Robert was killing her and figured he could do a little blackmailing, too.
Well, it looks like 2 down and 1 to go.
What?
Somebody else could have the same idea.
Mary Ann James?
The license isn't proof of marriage, but a certificate would be. And she was into this box for something today.
If she figures on trying the same thing, Dollar, and Robert Cooper follows the same pattern.
That's just what I was thinking. A phone call to the Botanical Gardens brought no answer. It was after 5:30, and the place was obviously closed. There was only one place left to go. 611 Crescent Drive.
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. Mr. Dollar.
What are you doing here, Norman?
Oh, I'm waiting for Marianne to get home. You see,
You mind if we come in?
Why, no, not at all.
Thanks.
Miss James hasn't come home yet?
No. I've been expecting her. She's usually home about this time. We had a date, but she phoned and said she'd be a little late.
Did she say why?
Yeah, she said she had to meet someone at the gardens after closing time. Some kind of a business deal or something. Why, did you want to see her about something important?
You could call it that. We covered the 15 miles out to the Botanical Gardens in something like 11 minutes flat. The place was dark and deserted looking except for 2 cars in the parking lot. The hood of one of the cars was still warm, and it was registered to Robert Cooper.
He's in there with her, Dollar. No question about it. Where?
I don't know, but with 250 acres to cover, we better get started. We split up and headed into a night-blackened mass of tropical foliage. There didn't seem to be a prayer of finding anyone in there, but I figured that 47 different varieties of azaleas was as good a place to start as any. But it didn't look as if I was right.
Cooper! Cooper! Where is he, Dollar? Can you see him?
In that clump of magnolias.
Get away from here! Get out! Dollar!
I don't know. Cooper! Throw your gun out, Cooper.
All right. All right. Here's the gun. All right.
Yeah,
I threw my gun down, Dollar. I threw it down.
I see it.
What about the girl, Dollar?
It seems all right. Passed out with shock.
She shouldn't have tried it. Blackmailing me. Refusing to let me go. Wasn't my fault. Nothing else I could do. There's no crime worse than blackmail.
Felicia Farrow could think of one. Expense account item 5, $18.30. Hotel bill and miscellaneous. Expense account item 6, $52.70. Airfare and incidentals back to Hartford. Expense account total, $176.45. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
Barney Wilson here.
All right, Mr. Wilson, I'm braced. Rub it in.
Well, you were a little overconfident.
Overconfident? Let's face it, I made a jerk of myself. After I apologize to you, I've got to crawl out there and apologize to Mrs. Markey.
I wouldn't be too hasty about it.
I've been putting it off for the last 2 hours. After the way I talked to her, I'd rather walk into a cage of lions than face her again. But I thought her husband was alive, and I thought she knew it. Then your boys have to go and pull his body out of the surf.
Well, that's why I called.
I had a tag for an out-and-out insurance fraud.
Mr. Dollar, the way it looks right now, I don't know what it is.
It was probably murder. What else?
Look, if you want to lose your mind, you come on over here to the morgue.
Why? What do you mean?
Mr. Dollar, I've been a detective for 20 years, but I've never hit one before that was as crazy as this.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Miami Beach. To the Home Office, Delta Liability, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, the Fathom 5 matter. It happened to involve a $75,000 insurance policy. Item 17, $1.60, taxi from my hotel to the county morgue. I couldn't figure what Wilson meant. When the cruiser Fathom 5 burned and sank and William Markey's body wasn't found, I thought I'd spotted an attempted insurance swindle. I'd even warned Mrs. Markey not to try to file a claim. And then, a few hours ago, Markey's drowned body had been washed up on the beach. Wilson should be happy. He'd been proven right. But instead, he'd sounded more mixed up and uncertain than he'd been before.
Come on in, Mr. Dollar.
You know, you don't pick the pleasantest places in the world to hold conferences.
I thought you might want to take a look at him. Though I'll be eternally blasted if I know what anybody could tell by looking. Well, there's the lad who's given us all the trouble, Mr. Dollar. William Markey, number 423.
I never thought I'd see him here. I told Mrs. Markey that the only thing that would convince me he wasn't alive would be to see his body. All right, I'm convinced. And I'll never try to outguess an ocean current again. Everything seemed to add up to... Oh, now, wait a minute.
I wondered how long it'd be before you noticed.
Doesn't make sense.
Like I said on the phone, this one is crazy.
This was pulled out of the surf this morning?
Right.
And the cruiser sank 5 days ago. That's when Markey supposedly drowned.
You're on the beam, Mr. Dollar.
This body hasn't been in the ocean for 5 days.
You win the 4-day trip to Bermuda and a complete new wardrobe.
Have you had an autopsy?
Doc Morgan just finished it 20 minutes ago. That's why I called you. Doc wouldn't stick around himself. You know, I think he went out to get drunk.
How long does he think Markey has been dead?
Not over 18 hours, since sometime last night. Looks like we were both right, for whatever good it is. He was alive after the sinking, just like you claimed, and now he's dead, just like I claimed.
What was the cause of death?
Drowning. Only you haven't heard the real crazy part yet.
Why? What do you mean?
You remember we found one of his shoes washed in a couple of days ago?
Yeah?
The body was wearing 2 shoes when they pulled it out.
They always make one slip, don't they?
A couple in this case.
Huh?
It's the second one that nearly pushed Doc Morgan off his rocket.
What second one?
Markey was drowned, all right, but not in the ocean.
Huh?
It was fresh water in his lungs, not seawater.
Was Morgan sure?
Swore by it, and then at it. That's what threw him.
Yeah, I imagine. When you get an 18-hour test on a man who's supposed to have been dead for 5 days and find fresh water when it ought to be salt. Well, I guess the late Mr. Markey can't tell us much of anything else.
So, where do we go from here, Mr. Dollar?
Good question. You haven't found the car yet, huh? The one Markey bought under an assumed name?
No, but I gave the boys an extra prod to bear down on it. Half the town force is out looking for it now.
Wonder where he was hiding out for those 4 days.
What I want to know is who killed him and how and why.
Oh, the why is fairly easy. It's the who and how that carry the question marks. That fingerprint ID was certain, huh? There's not the slightest doubt but what this is William Markey.
Oh, you're looking for an easy way out, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, I guess I am at that. Well, then it looks like our number one is the lad you've been after all along.
Young Danny Haynes, huh?
What do you say we go and have a talk with him? Only one thing was wrong with the idea. It didn't work. Haynes wasn't in, and the clerk at his hotel said he hadn't seen him all day. The night clerk admitted that he'd slept through most of his shift and wasn't sure of anything. We searched Haynes' room and found nothing. So for the moment, we left it at that. Wilson put a stake out in the hotel and went back to his office. I went to my hotel and waited. Johnny Dollar.
Barney Wilson.
Yeah, what's up?
We finally got a break. The boys found that car.
Where?
Parked at the curb out on the east side of town. May have been abandoned there, or it may be where Markey was hiding out. It's in front of an apartment house.
Have they checked through it yet?
No, they haven't touched it. I'm leaving to go out there now. Want me to swing by and pick you up?
If you don't, I'll sue you. I'll meet you out in front of the hotel. We stopped a block away and walked up to the apartment house. The car was still parked at the curb, and the plainclothes man watching it said no one had been near it. We went on inside and found the landlady, identified ourselves, and started questioning her. Luck seems to still be with us.
Well, you see, most of my guests are permanent, as you might say, or at least as permanent as renters ever are.
Yes, we understand.
In fact, the only unit I've let in the last 2 months is number 14. That's up one flight with a pull-down bed.
When did you rent that one?
Well, let's see now. I think it was, about 10 days ago. He paid a month's rent in advance.
He? What was his name?
Mr. Jones. A very nice, quiet, middle-aged fella.
He lived by himself?
Oh, yes, and never went out much. After he moved in, that is. He didn't stay here for the first 4 or 5 days after he rented it.
Until the night the Fathom 5 sank.
When did you see Mr. Jones last?
Well, it's a funny thing. He went out yesterday evening and he didn't come back at all.
What kind of a car did he drive?
Well, good heavens, I don't know. But you can look for yourself. It's parked out there at the curb. A friend of his brought it by a while ago.
What? What's the friend's name?
Why, I didn't ask him. He's an awful nice young fella. He said Mr. Jones was going on a trip and sent him to pick up his belongings. And he had Mr. Jones's key, so I decided it was all right. He's up there packing now.
12, 13. It's next door down there.
Better take it easy. It's hard to tell what to expect.
Right. He's in there, all right.
Try the knob. Easy.
It's locked.
And there isn't much choice.
Who is it?
Open up, Haynes. We want to talk to you. I said open up.
Get away from that door.
Watch it, Wilson.
I'm warning you. Don't try to come in.
Well, we know now what to expect.
I'll cover the door here, Dollar. You go down and tell Dave to cover the outside windows and call in for a couple of squad cars.
Right. Hey, he's going out that window. There must be a fire escape.
Come on. Let's hit the door.
There he is at the bottom of the fire escape.
Hold it, Haynes.
Stay back.
All right, Haynes, it's up to you. Throw down that gun or I'll drop you. I'm sorry, kid.
He's down.
Yeah.
That second shot was dead center.
I know. I tried to hold low on him, but it jumped up on me.
Well, he said he'd die for her if it came to that.
It came to that.
It was after dark when Wilson and I drove out to the Marquis Beach House. There were no lights on and nobody answered the doorbell. So Wilson forced entrance and we shook the place down. We found evidence of a struggle in the study and in the bathroom. Water from the bathtub had overflowed behind the tile and was still seeping out along the baseboard. We found a dressing gown of Mrs. Markey stuffed in the back of a closet, soaking wet. Piece by piece, Wilson collected his evidence, and the picture became more and more clear. He phoned in for a fingerprint crew and went on working. I left him there and went back into town to my hotel and took the elevator up to my room.
Mr. Dollar,
What are you doing here?
waiting for you. They've got extras out. They say the police shot Danny Haynes. I thought maybe you could tell me what it's all about.
Sure. And what you mostly want to know is how much he talked before he died. Isn't that it, Mrs. Markey?
I don't know what you mean.
Then go on out to your house and ask Wilson. He's out there with a fingerprint crew. And I imagine he can tell you anything you want to know by now. I slipped up last night. I thought it was Haynes who came to your door. But it wasn't. It was your husband. And you told him to come back later. Then when I left, you called Haynes and had him come over.
If he said that, he lied.
I even gave you the idea for it myself. When I said the only thing that could convince me your husband wasn't alive would be to see his dead body. So you talked Haynes into helping you provide the evidence I said I'd have to have.
My husband's body was found in the ocean. They told me that this evening.
Yeah, but he didn't die there. He was drowned in the bathtub at your house, and you and Haynes did it.
You're out of your mind. Danny Haynes was lying.
Then go tell Wilson. It's his job now, not mine. Maybe you'll be able to convince him, but I doubt it. And I'm pretty sure you won't be able to convince a jury.
You think not. I'll get the best lawyer money can buy.
Yeah, you do that, Mrs. Markey, but don't plan on using any of that insurance money for it.
Why not?
Because there won't be any. That policy was already void when you and Haynes killed your husband last night. What? An attempted fraud cancels a policy the minute it's committed. In other words, Mrs. Markey, 5 days ago when your husband sank the Fathom 5 and tried to play dead.
I don't believe it.
You've lost out all the way around, Mrs. Markey. Your husband, your boyfriend, your insurance claim. And now you stand a pretty good chance of losing your life. A 4-time loser. That's really a record. Expense account item 18, $321.60. Hotel and incidentals in Miami and transportation back to Hartford. Expense account total $684.95. End of account, end of report. Remarks? You quoted a line of Shakespeare at the start of this case, Ralph. Full fathom 5, thy father lies. Well, you're wrong. It turns out to be the widow who lies, and lies, and lies. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Remember, there'll be another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, beginning next Monday night.
Next week. Well, if I'd minded my own business, I wouldn't have heard the girl beg for help. And from that point on, I needed help. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in this week's cast were Mary Jane Croft, Barney Phillips, Carlton Young, Eleanor Audley, Sam Edwards, Shep Menken, and John Daner. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino. Be sure to join us on Monday night, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roy Rowan speaking. From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
This is Mrs. Gramley, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, good.
I understand you were trying to reach me.
I just told your nephew, Walter, that if he didn't have you on this phone within 3 minutes, I'd be out there at the ranch with a posse of police.
Oh, I'm afraid there's some mistake, Mr. Dollar. You see, I told Walter I didn't wish to talk with you.
You what?
I admire your persistence, young man, but...
Are you saying this of your own free will? You're not being forced?
How ridiculous.
Who's there with you?
Just my nephew, Walter, and his wife, Hilda. Sure,
I'm coming out there, Mrs. Gramley.
Mr. Dollar, you were sent out here from Hartford to investigate an insurance trust I was arranging for my granddaughter. Well, I've decided not to set up the trust, so there's no further reason to involve yourself in my affairs. Good night, Mr. Dollar.
Hello. Hello.
What have you got cooking with the Gramleys anyway, Mr.
Shut up, Nicky. Let me think.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Las Vegas, Nevada, to the Home Office, Amicon Northern Trust Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, the matter of reasonable doubt. Expense account, final page. Item 12, 75 cents. I had a pint of black coffee sent in for Nikki Vernon, girlfriend of missing casino operator Deuce McCoy. She'd been overworking a bottle of scotch, and I figured the coffee would help clear the fumes. And it might have, if she'd drunk it.
No, take it away. I don't want any coffee.
I couldn't figure that phone call from Mrs. Gramley. She knew her nephew and his wife had been stealing from her. That's why she'd started to set up the trust to save the estate from them and turn it over to a young granddaughter, Susan. And she knew also, Ap told her, that Walter and his wife had probably contrived the auto accident that had killed Susan's parents. And yet now she seemed to have reversed her whole attitude. Maybe Jonas Parks had been right. Maybe there was a reasonable doubt as to her sanity. Maybe a lot of things. But all of the answers were out there at that ranch.
She's to blame for it. Things were all right with Deuce and me till she came messing around.
If it hadn't been Hilda, it would have been somebody else.
A whole lot you know about it.
Oh, why don't you drink some of that coffee, Nicky?
I don't want any coffee.
Okay, suit yourself. Go ahead and enjoy your broken heart, then. Kill the rest of that bottle if that's what you want. Cry up a storm. Live it up. Wallow in it.
I'll get that dame. It's the last thing I ever do.
For what? You ought to thank her for getting that rat off your neck.
What'd you have to turn him in for? Deuce never did anything to you.
He never had the chance.
Well, what's he supposed to have done that's so horrible?
It's more what he tried to do.
Oh, sure.
You happen to know young Susan Gramley?
Yeah, I've seen the kid. Why?
Well, your lover boy phoned her out at the ranch earlier this evening, disguised his voice, said he was a friend of mine. He tried to get her to meet him on the old Boulder Cutoff out in the middle of the desert.
If you think Deuce would try to date up a 16-year-old kid, you're crazy.
Nicky, I think he was going to kill a 16-year-old kid.
It's her fault. Hilda Gramley. She and her sneaky little henpecked husband got Deuce mixed up in something.
I don't imagine he was very hard to mix.
That dame's been asking for it for a long time.
Yeah, I know, and you're about ready to give it to her. Well, forget it. Sober up, find the nearest exit, and then run like the devil.
I want Deuce.
So do the police. And they're the ones who are going to get him. They're covering the airport now, the depot, all the highways. Vegas is a tough town to get away from. He hasn't got a chance.
It's just as much your husband's fault. Why didn't he keep her at home? Why didn't he...
Oh, for the love of... You keep on playing that same old record, you're going to wear a groove right through your brain.
Maybe so.
Now, look, I got things to do. Are you going to be all right here alone?
Well, I'm just fine. I never felt better in my life.
Then you've already got it halfway made. So why don't you double up and get even? Try some of that coffee.
You're a real busy guy, Mr. Dollar. You put the finger on a man with one hand, and at the same time you try to sober up his girl with the other.
Sure. And if I had a broom, I'd sweep the office.
Well, then why don't you go be busy someplace else?
That's exactly the idea. All right, kid, you're on your own. Good luck, Nicky.
Good luck? Huh. What do you care what kind of luck I have?
Oh, I don't know. I picked up my car and drove out across the desert toward the Flint Rock Ranch. I couldn't quite imagine Mrs. Gramley being intimidated. The idea of Walter and Hilda standing over her, holding a gun at her head and making her say things against her will was pretty unbelievable. Faced with a threat like that, she'd probably say, shoot and be blasted. It just didn't make sense. Apparently, she really had reversed her field. But I had to hear it from her face to face.
Who is it?
Johnny Dollar, open up. I said open up.
What's the idea? Mrs. Gramley told you to stay away from here, didn't she?
I don't know. There was static in the phone. I want to hear her say it again. You don't
What do you
mind
think
if
you're
I'm
doing?
Coming in? All right, Walter, let's go talk to Mrs. Gramley.
Look, Dollar, you haven't got that much weight to throw around.
Suppose we get it straight right now and save a lot of time. I came out here to talk to Mrs. Gramley, and I'm going to talk to her. Now, if you want to go at it bare knuckle, let's get started. Or if you're thinking of that gun routine again, go ahead and pull it. I'm packing one myself. And if you're not going to make any kind of a move, then you just stand right there with your face hanging out while I go on in and talk.
What's going on in here, Walter?
Good evening, Mrs. Gramley.
Dollar won't take no for an answer. He just forced his way in.
I'm glad to find you looking so well.
I thought I'd made myself clear on the phone, Mr. Dollar.
Really? Come on, let's go on into the living room where we can all be more comfortable.
Come back here. I must insist that you leave at once.
Who was at the door? What are you doing here?
Well, if it isn't Hilda, the lovely lady who likes money, gifts, and excitement. Fine. That's why I came out, to stir up a little excitement.
I think you're taking a good deal upon yourself, Mr. Dollar.
You know, I'm a little surprised at you, Mrs. Gramley. I thought you wanted me to follow the case through.
There is no case.
Oh? Since when?
You heard what she said. That's what you came for. All right, now beat it.
Down, Walter. Mrs. Gramley, are you telling me you're going to drop this whole thing, let this pair here edge you out and Susan along with you and take the whole estate?
You can put any interpretation on it you like. Just as long as you leave this house at once, and please don't come back. You have no right to interfere.
And what about your son and his wife? Have you forgotten that those two leeches there killed them?
You're out of your mind.
Am I? What do you think, Mrs. Gramley? Am I out of my mind?
I'm afraid you are. My son and his wife were killed in an automobile accident. A terrible tragedy, but unavoidable.
Sure it was. After Walter and Hilda here set it up.
Will you please leave now?
Have they threatened you? Is that it? Are you scared to talk? Because if you are, speak up. I imagine I can handle them.
You're being quite ridiculous, Mr. Dollar. Will you now go, please?
It beats me. It really does. If I hadn't...
I'll answer it. Hello? Who?
If that's for me, you better let me take it. They know I'm here.
All right. Take it. Nobody's stopping you.
It was Will Connors on the phone. He'd been keeping in close touch with the police, and he was calling to tell me what had happened. Deuce McCoy had been arrested. He'd been picked up at the airport trying to board a plane and was being taken to the city jail. I hung up the phone and told the three of them what Will had said. That touched off the fuse.
Arrested? Deuce has been arrested?
At the airport? I don't get it.
But you will get it, Walter. Deuce will talk. He'll spill the whole thing. And I think we'll be able to make a case against you and Hilda even without Mrs. Gramley's testimony.
Susan, was she with him? Is she all right?
Mrs. Gramley, Susan has been in my hotel room with Will Connors for the last... So that was the hold they had over you.
They told me this man Deuce had phoned her and tricked her into meeting him.
Susan doesn't trick so easy. She called me
Get
and
your
I...
hands up, Dollar.
Oh, now it's a little late for a gun, Walter. You won't find it any easier to run than Deuce did.
He's right, Walter. Let me think. There must be
Let
some way...
you think. That's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, and you thought us right into this.
Walter!
The airport. You know what he was doing? He was running out. The kid didn't show. He knew something had gone wrong, and he was taking a powder. And not even telling me.
There's no time now
Left us here holding the bag. And now you say, let me think. Why didn't you think before? It was your idea, cutting him in on this.
No, she's got a lot of cute ideas.
Nicky.
She's a real little brain.
What the devil are you doing here?
Slumming, Mr. Dollar. The door was open, so I walked in. You mind?
Look, whoever you
Look
are.
what, sucker. I've seen guns before. Why didn't she use it on them? When they were playing you for their number one patsy.
What are you talking about?
Deuce McCoy. And that little sneak you're married to there. You mean you still don't know?
She's lying, Walter.
Don't you wish I was? They had you right in the middle, sucker. Deuce was taking it away from you on the tables, and little Hildy was getting it back from him after hours. I'll bet they got a lot of laughs out of it.
Better hand over that gun, Walter.
It's true, isn't it, Hilda?
Of course not.
Take a gun to him, huh? Well, maybe it's not too late.
Walter, what are you going to do?
Give me the gun, Walter.
Sure. Why not? I don't need it now.
He killed her. His own wife. Stood right there and shot her down in cold blood.
Did you call the police, Mrs. Gramley?
Yeah, tell them to hurry right out. They can take me in on a real charge now.
I didn't mean for her to get killed.
You know something, Dollar?
No. Suppose you tell me.
That's the first big move I've made in the last 10 years. That Hilda didn't plan.
Expense account item 14, $305.20. Hotel and incidentals in Las Vegas and transportation back to Hartford. Expense account total, $596.45. End of account. Remarks? Well...
I can't figure out why she had to go messing around that way when she already had a man of her own, her husband. Of course, it didn't amount to much, but not many men do. What'd you expect to find in this world? Pearls in all her oysters? A turkey in her soup?
Well, that was Nicky, and that's the report. And that's life. Come to think of it, though, what isn't? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here's our star to tell you about next week's intriguing story.
Next week, Indestructible Mike, the most amazing character I ever met. A man with 9 lives at least. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in our cast were Susan Whitney, Richard Crenna, Jeanette Nolan, Forrest Lewis, Inga Adams, Paul Richards, and Gene Tatum. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino and Carl Fortina. Be sure to join us on Monday night, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.